Hey collectors, Anthony from HNE here, and today we will be taking a look at Transformers Buzzworthy Bumblebee Creatures Collide Ransack. Man, that's a long name. Ransack is part of the second wave of Insecticons and is a locust. He is a jerk with no filter and does not care if it bothers you. This will be one of two of my reviews of this box set, the other being Skywarp. Moose will be covering Goldbug and Scorponok. When we return, we will see what all the buzz is about. So before we get into the figure that we're going to talk about today, I wanted to real quickly show off the differences between the two versions of Goldbug that Hasbro has released this year. And Moose is going to do an in-depth review on this set's Goldbug, which is the one to your left, but the one to your right is the Shattered Glass version, and it uses the Cliff Jumper mold. And you can see that the helmeting is similar, but the body is with the Netflix Bumblebee VW Beetle. So you can see the differences. The weapons are the same, the backs, of course, the different ones because of the different molds. And here is what they look from this side profile. So here they are in vehicle form, and unlike Shattered Glass Goldbug, the new Goldbug doesn't have a port on the top to mount the cannons. But I mean, generally, the build, the internal parts are the same. It's the shell that's different, so you can see the difference. Obviously, if you have a Bumblebee from Netflix, he's basically just a slightly different colored Goldbug from the one on the left here. But otherwise, there's not too much different about them other than, of course, the licensing. And just look out for Moose's review of Goldbug. You can see the transformation and other comparisons on this channel. So here we are on the left with Ransack, and then, of course, on the right, Kickback. They are just simply redecos with some remolding, very minimal. It's in the head primarily. Now, Ransack did come with an additional head, which looks basically a visored version of Kickback. So nothing too fancy about that. And before we look at these guys a little bit closer, let's just take a quick look at the box. The simple box: Goldbug, Ransack, Skywasp, Predacon, Scorponok, which is the toy color Scorponok. The top here, which is properly lightened cardboard-wise. There is a large piece of cardboard in here and cardboard ribbons that tie these guys together. It's too much to be pulling out on this limited area. And then, of course, on the back of the box is the transformations, so you get both bot and alternate modes, and simple as that. Inside the box, in addition to, of course, the other figures, was the instructions, and with the instructions came the don't hurt yourself paper, so don't hurt yourself. Taking a look at these guys, I'm relatively not much different. As you see, it's pretty much just the HUD sculpt. Even the little bits here on him are the same as the bits on here, except he got clear plastic. I thought they were doing like an Energon trend thing, like, but I guess for the special set they just said, well, you know what, we don't need these to be clear on Ransack, so okay, sure. And as we go to the side here, everything is just basically identical but in different colors. I dig the colors. I appreciate the fact that they went with a more Ransacky head than just a simple recolor of the head on Kickback, but you can go around and yeah, there's really no real differences. There's some paint in some places and others there's not, but otherwise it's pretty good. The guns, of course, are the same gun, except Kickback has some purple and it's primarily gray, where Ransack is all black. I want to show the texturing on the wings, and it is not, like, on one side it's smooth, but on the other side it's like a real texture. And I don't know how well it's coming in on camera, but oh, it is. Just the texture level, the detail in this series and the End of War for Cybertron just got really good, especially with the beast creatures. So that is super nifty. One thing I can't appreciate is the lack of waffling. The only gaps are, of course, ones that are necessary for, you know, kind of storage for, in the case of the arms on the alt modes. I do want to state something that people seem to forget. Grasshoppers and locusts are the same. The difference is when a grasshopper joins a group of other grasshoppers, they all collectively become locusts and change their colors. So if he was really a grasshopper, he'd be green, but the locust colors aren't too far off. They kind of go over brown color. But anyway, we'll take him, kick back there, throw him in the corner, and we'll just take apart Ransack here so we can prepare him for transformation. Now, Ransack's transformation is just slightly different because you're placing these in a different location than you would on him. And first thing first is you want to turn his head around, and as you see, there is this panel back there, and if I can get it to come up, the panel covers his robot face. Oh, that helped a little bit. There we go. So we'll pull it up, and it'll cover up the bottom of his face because basically, it's a grasshopper, obviously. And his arm flips, or technically, I guess his wrist flips. So, because we're trying to create the double-sided insect leg bit here. We're making fun of this on a live stream. He's basically, turn him down, he's a bug, turn him up, he's a robot. That is essentially what we're doing. The toes flip in, and we're going to pull out the feet, flip around the toes on the grasshopper feet, and we're going to move the wings up, and kind of bend these, kind of like this, and that's pretty much it. Now the difference is you attach the tail bits together, and there are pegs and holes that go like this, and then underneath there is this peg, or this hole here where the peg goes in. There's a piece that slides here, and it's going to be tough to get it in, and it's going to be tough to get it out, but essentially you're doing this to create the back half of his body, and adjust the feet accordingly, put the legs back, and you end up with this. And that is the real difference between him and him. And we'll be right back, and I'll transform him and we'll compare them. So here we are with both of them in their insect modes, and you can see that pretty much fairly similar, except the placement of these bits here on the wings here and kickback, and on the bottom part of Ransack. And I mean, it's easy enough retooling, I guess, if you really want to collect, hopefully, eventually all 6, 7, or 8 Insecticons, however far they decide to go with this thing. It's interesting that they're kind of doing it the way they are. Now, there is one more thing I probably should mention is you can, of course, mount the gun under the chest here, which is technically the back of the figure when it's in bot mode. There's a place to place it, and it actually helps you determine how you need the legs set up. So it kind of works out rather nicely. And I just appreciate the different heads, because if you would put his head on, this alternate head, you'd basically be just making another Ransack with slightly different colors. So I don't feel like it's necessary. But some people like that alternative. So if that's you, that's great. Otherwise, these are pretty good looking bugs. All in all, neither of these guys are breaking any new ground. Of course, they're re-releases of other figures with different colors and slightly tweaked in some way. They're both good. They're both, for what they are perfectly acceptable figures. And I guess the question is to you, and leave it in the comments, how many of these do you have? Like, do you have both of Ransack and Kickback? And do you have Sky Wasp, Waspinator, Buzzsaw? Like, what about Scorponok? There's like now there's like 3 or 4 Scorponok figures out there. There's like 2 different Volkswagen molds of Bumblebee, now Goldbug, and then there's another Goldbug, then there's another Bumblebee. Like, how many are there? How many do you have of all of these repaints? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe.